As you gain experience in web application development, you not only learn how to make web apps, but also how to break them. Hi everybody, my name is Jacob, and in this video I'm going to be telling you the story of how I hacked a web app. Hopefully you'll learn something from it. So, I am part of a development team for a web app that I'm going to call Web App Pro. It's a pretty fully featured web app. It has user accounts, a messaging system, all that jazz. Now, one of the features of the web app is that you can change your username. Now, of course, this is not Web App Pro. This is just a little demo I whipped up to show you what the issue looks like. So you can change your username. Say I wanted to change my username to something really generic like username. Okay. Yay, my username has been successfully changed to username. And your username would be displayed in a lot of different places on the site. So this is just an example of that. Now, say I wanted to change my username to this. That's an HTML tag, and it makes text bold. Okay? Now, I can go a step further and even put an image in there. I'm not actually going to link to a real image because what I really want to get at is this attribute. It's on error. Inside of here, well, since this hash symbol is not a link to an image, it's going to error. And so I can put some JavaScript in here. And I get this pop-up box that just says 0, because that's what I put in the alert, and a broken image. This is a major security vulnerability. Actually, quite major. It's something called cross-site scripting, or XSS. It's a type of computer security vulnerability typically found in web applications. XSS enables attackers to inject client-side scripts, that's what this alert here is, into web pages viewed by other users. This is my username in this example, so that means anyone who wants to view my username is going to get this alert box. Basically, it means I can run whatever JavaScript I want on their computer when they view my username. I can go a step further with the deviousness of this and add style display none to the image, and then put some actual text that looks like a username. Now it looks like a username, but there's actually a hidden image in there that's running some JavaScript. The reason this is such a major security vulnerability is that this script here could literally do anything that the user could in place of the user. So it could make a request to a external server for a malicious script, and then that script could come and make API calls to the server that's hosting the web app in place of the user, and it could access the user's sensitive information, can access anything that's on the page, any variables, it could access cookies, session storage, local storage, all kinds of stuff. And that could cause a lot of damage. They could steal credit card numbers, they could steal confidential information, a lot of stuff. So there are ways to solve this security issue. A function that PHP provides is called HTML special characters, and what it does is it replaces key characters for HTML, such as ampersand, quotes, and angle brackets, less than and greater than sign, with the respective HTML entities. These, when added into an HTML document, this will render as an ampersand. This will render as a double quote, but it won't function like one. So they have an example down here. If you pass this string in, well, that would be a link, but when you output it, it outputs this mess, which renders as text like this, but doesn't function like it, like this would if it was rendered as HTML. If I put this in a web page, I would get a link. If I put this in the web page, I would get this text. So continuing on with my story, I did something similar to this. I set my username to a piece of code that would run some JavaScript and say, you have been hacked. And then I sent messages to some of the other developers through the Web App Pro messaging system. So whenever they opened the message, they would see my username. And a couple hours later, someone posted on Slack, which is a team messaging app. It's like a big chat room just for everyone on the development team. And they posted a screenshot of a box like this that said, you've been hacked. And they're like, what in the world is this? Is this new? And someone else said, yeah, I was wondering the same thing. I don't know what this is. Someone else commented, well, we've been hacked, of course. And finally, since I had been submitting issues to the issue tracker for the past couple days on more minor security issues, someone said, I'm assuming Jacob has found a security vulnerability, which indeed I had, and a big one at that. So I found that pretty funny that they just expected me to find one. But anyways, that's my story. And what I hope you learn from this story and this video is that you can never, well, not only about cross-site scripting and that you need to keep your web apps secure, but you can't trust the client. You can't trust any user input. It all has to be sanitized, and you can't rely on client-side validation or client-side sanitation either, because hackers can bypass that easily. It's a breeze. Even for me, as a developer and not a hacker, I can easily bypass any validation on the client side. Server-side validation, on the other hand, that's a whole different thing. That's a whole lot harder to bypass, if it's possible at all. Don't trust the client. Don't trust your users to provide valid information. Always assume that something is going to go wrong. They're going to enter something where they're not supposed to, even on accident. But if it is a hacker, you need to be prepared for that. Anyways, that's my story. Hope you learned something from it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe. My name is Jacob, and have a good one.